This section introduces a project that showcases a method for sharing and reusing code in GitHub Actions workflows, emphasizing its application in a monorepo context. It focuses on using the workflow call feature to enhance modularity and decrease code redundancy within CI/CD pipelines through a caller workflow that triggers a reusable one and a callee workflow that contains shared logic. The author manages a monorepo containing different services, where most of the GitHub Actions workflow code is repetitive. The motivation for this project is to demonstrate how to effectively share common code, which can streamline operations and reduce maintenance overhead. This section outlines the installation steps to review sample workflows and their code structure. It instructs users to clone the repository and navigate to the GitHub Workflows directory, where they can explore the defined workflows located in .github/workflows/. To see the reusable workflow in action, users are advised to push changes to the main branch, which automatically triggers a predefined workflow. Alternatively, a manual trigger option is provided from the GitHub Actions tab. Following the triggering process allows users to observe execution details of the reusable workflow in action. This section lists the technologies employed in the project, highlighting GitHub Actions as the primary tool used for implementing CI/CD workflows and sharing functionality. Various design options for code reuse are discussed, with workflow call being the best for workflow logic sharing in monorepos, while composite actions and Docker actions serve alternative purposes. Shell scripts are mentioned for portability, but present maintenance challenges in larger projects. Here, workflow call is described as a vital feature in GitHub Actions that enables creating reusable workflows, which can be triggered by other workflows, thus promoting modularity. The section sets the stage for understanding the foundational aspects of how these reusable workflows operate. The section outlines the key participants in the workflow call process: the caller, which initiates and sends inputs, and the callee, which executes the shared logic when invoked. Important rules for implementing caller and callee workflows are detailed. The caller can utilize standard triggers and must use uses to invoke the callee, while the callee is restricted to on workflow call trigger and does not support traditional event triggers. Key components of a reused workflow include inputs for data transfer, outputs for returning data, secrets for securely passing sensitive information, and permissions that define the access rights required by the workflow. This structure ensures a smooth interaction between the caller and callee workflows. This section explains the typical structure of the code in GitHub Actions, promoting the concept of reusable workflows that enhance the modularity and manageability of CI/CD processes, particularly beneficial for large-scale projects. This part introduces the caller workflow, which begins by defining its triggers, namely automatic execution on code pushes to the main branch and manual execution from the UI. It also incorporates a critical line in the jobs section to call a reusable workflow, allowing for efficient code sharing. Further analysis of the caller workflow's configuration explains how inputs are passed to the reusable workflow using the with keyword, demonstrating a direct method for transmitting data along with the workflow call. The callee workflow is focused on defining reusable actions, indicating that this workflow can only be triggered via another workflow. It specifies the expected inputs directly tied to the caller's input parameters, enhancing reusability and consistency in actions across various workflows. Continuing with the callee workflow's elements, it details the required setup for accepting inputs and executing jobs in a defined environment, including essential steps that encapsulate the core actions which the workflow will perform, such as printing messages, demonstrating interaction with the caller. This section showcases a visual representation of the GitHub Actions interface following a push, illustrating the activation of both the main caller workflow and the simple reusable workflow, helping users to visualize the CI/CD process. Links to additional resources are provided, including official GitHub documentation on reusing workflows and an introductory YouTube video, both of which offer further insights and learning opportunities for users interested in GitHub Actions.